Divisor Now, the #1 place for news and politics. Welcome to Divisor Now. I'm your host, Editor Anakin. Today, we will be talking about the SGDA and doing a deep dive into their platform and electoral outlook. But before we get into that, I would like to issue a quick correction about yesterday's video. The CPD and UWP have made an alliance, and this will likely strengthen their bid due to their common pranks and far-left economics and some other shared platforms. And this will also help strengthen both of their bids because they'll be working together rather than separately. So, just a quick correction for that for yesterday. So let us dive into the video. So, the SGDA is led by Neo and is growing in membership, starting off with just one member and now going into many more core party membership. And a growing membership is a good sign for a successful party. And that platform is rather interesting in that they believe in a social market economy with minimal regulation and taxation, but with certain healthcare and other regulations such as a Bismarckian healthcare system and antitrust laws and some other measures to protect against so-called predatory capitalism. If you're unsure, I will quickly describe the Bismarck model, of healthcare. So it is based around an insurance system, and then these insurers are often called sickness funds, and they are jointly financed by employers and employees through payroll deduction. But it is not necessarily for profit, and they have to cover everybody. But they also tend, like doctors in hospital, also tend to be private. And there are a few examples of that, but it is not always the most well known. Another aspect of the Bismarck model is that it is multi-payer, so that multiple people pay for it rather than a single payer for the government. And tight regulation gives government much of the cost control clout that a single payer model does. And there are a few examples of that, as I mentioned before. But let us quickly get back into the rest of their platform. So they are socially against progressivism and a largely social conservatism. Social conservative, that is it. So economically, they are free market and they are socially conservative. Though they do believe in a somewhat big government to provide those regulations that they believe needs to protect against predatory capitalism. And they want to protect the sanctity of marriage and the family, and that includes gay marriage as included in the sanctity of marriage, and a core part of their platform is anti-communism and anti-predatory capitalism. And both of them, they believe, are bad for workers and fail to deliver dignity to the workers. Something that both hardcore capitalists, such as might be found in Foxhound or the CRP, and the far-left communists both find offensive. And that might be a very core enemy and difference between those parties and the DA. Let us get into the potential electoral outlook. So it has similar policies of Foxhound and the CRP in terms of economics, but are more moderate in the handling of free market economics, as the DA are Christian democratic. And this might cause a bit of a split in the vote for more hardcore free marketers and more moderate free marketers, and then further split between the more radical free marketers between Foxhound and the CRP. And this could allow an opportunity for sub-parties such as the Action Divisor Party or the Communist parties to gain more voters, relatively speaking, and be able to crush these parties as they split in voters. And the SGDA has some of the more moderate policies, but again, compared to other parties such as the UWP, the CPD, and the Action Divisor Party, they are almost ANCAP, but they are rather moderate overall and would likely win the moderate vote, which is an important vote to win. And the only other parties that really have a shot at winning that are the CRP and Foxhound, but they aren't as in a good position to win that vote as the SGDA are. And the SGDA are also aligned with the PUP, the Parish United Party, which allows them to get some support from the Peerland and that region in the election, making it so they don't have to campaign there and have an actual support from an actual party from there. But they might also lose some of the conservative vote to Foxhound, as Foxhound has the same conservative platform with the added extension of gun rights. On the same idea, they also don't have a solid stance on gay rights, except that they have the same natural rights as everybody else. But not necessarily pro or anti-gay rights, which are more likely to win over the more hardcore conservative types. But SGADA are pro-gay rights, pro-gay marriage, which are going to lose some of their voters from the hardcore conservative wing and go over to Foxhound. And those types might also go for Action Division, but they're more moderate overall, they're more likely to vote for Foxhound. And because they're both religious, they both have an equal opportunity to win over the religious vote. And they have some other similarities, but they're also rather different in overall platforms, in that Foxhound believes that they need to deliver their policies through a free market bottom-up approach rather than a top-down approach that the DA favors. Strong state versus weak state, basically. So it'll be interested to see, just very interesting to see, how each of these parties will go in the coming election. But we still have some time before that happens. But let me quickly mention before we end this video that our first live show will be tomorrow between 12 and 1:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time, and we will be having various segments, and it will be great to have you tune in. Though if you can't, we understand that due to the timing, and that we will edit out the clips and post them throughout the next week. And we'll be trying to have a live show each week. But that was Division Now for this week. I've been your host, Edward Rannigan, and this was Division Now.